Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Based Mother Show. My name is Elena Barbera. I'm on the Patriots Prayer Network. This is my second try at doing this today. I was here a half hour ago and my mic wasn't working. So I was talking for about 20 minutes and no one could hear me, which I'm sure some people were very happy about. Today is debate day. It is September 10th. And finally, we're getting to see Kamala Harris and Donald Trump debate tonight. Do you think it'll really happen? How do you think they're going to do? Wow, there's so much noise going on around this. We're going to get to all of it.
Have you heard of the based mother?
All right, let me know in the comments if you can even hear me, because apparently I have serious tech problems, and what else is new? This is the way I roll. I don't mean to. So here we are today. Kamala's going to debate Trump. There's been a lot of speculation about whether or not she'll even show up. Quite frankly, I think she should stay home. I think she should just drop out completely, because if this woman had even one shred, tiny little shred of integrity, the only thing that she would be doing is saying, you know what? The American people never really elected me. Let's have a snap primary and figure out who the people want as their Democratic nominee. Instead, she was just like, yep, I will just take this installation like a czar installs his pet or his son into power, and that's fine. And I'll call the other side a threat to democracy. But she doesn't have any integrity. So now she's stuck with the choice to debate tonight. She's going to stay in this race, at least for now. She could manufacture a crisis and say she can't make it tonight, but apparently she's been really preparing hard, and she's been locked in the room with a Donald Trump impersonator practicing debate in some hotel room, which just sounds like the most insufferable, horrible room on earth to be stuck in. I can't even imagine the suffering of people who are trying to make this woman look and sound intelligent. It's a job I would never want. And to have to listen to her talk and talk and talk through that nasally nose of hers for hours. I'm sorry, I know that's superficial, but maybe if she said anything of substance, I could ignore her manner and her horrible voice, but I can't. I just can't. Sorry. I don't like her. I know that's how people feel about Trump. But I do listen to see if she's going to say anything decent. And she hasn't. She never has. That's the problem. She has been an anti-American communist for her entire career. She is scared, though, and I think it's really starting to show. Look at this video of her from yesterday. This is her getting off the plane, arriving in Philadelphia for the debate tonight. Hold on. I'm trying to check to see if my sound is working. It is. Okay, good. Solved. Problem solved. All right. So that body language has so much to she's looking down. She's holding in. I'm not an expert on body language, but I don't need to be in order to look at her and see that she's not a leader. She doesn't have confidence. She does not feel good about what's going on here. She's kind of hiding in her body language. She gives a weak salute, which is so disrespectful to the servicemen at the bottom of the stairs. She gives a weak wave and jumps right into the car. Are you worried about Trump? The press asks her. Yeah, she's worried. Intellectually, he runs circles around her. Now, can he control himself? That's the big question. In the debate with Biden, he was mostly pretty measured. They got a little childish at some points, especially when they both got into the stupid golf challenge. But for the most part, he kept himself together. If he doesn't go into personal attacks and he acts very mature tonight, he will destroy her. And she's counting on pushing his buttons. I'm that's my only concern is, will Trump be mature tonight? because, I'm all for his policies. I love his policies and I really like the man. I just, sometimes his style really undercuts his message and it's a shame. But the New York Times, the Boston Globe, they're making this all as usual. One big guess. Yeah, you guessed it. Race. It's about race and not political race, skin color. The New York Times in their morning paper today said, however she handles Mr. Trump's attacks will inevitably be viewed through the prism of a Black and South Asian woman debating a white man. No, it won't be viewed that way. Only racists like liberals and progressives view it that way. The rest of us just want to hear arguments of substance on how are you going to solve the World War III cliff we're standing on? How are you going to solve the fact that Americans can't afford homes and we can't afford food, that Americans are being killed and raped by illegal aliens, and now they're eating our pets too? How are you going to solve any of that? That's what we want to hear. I don't care if she comes out purple and he comes out green. It doesn't matter. And it doesn't matter to Americans. Increasingly, that is showing by Black Americans turning their back on the Democrats and saying, we're tired of being used by you. Stop making this about race and start making this about America. America last is Kamala's policy. But the Boston Globe, they play into it too, all this liberal hack media, which is why so many people no longer trust the mainstream media. I know I don't. People like me, I should be able to just go live my life. But I feel like if people like me, small, medium, large, creators aren't out here speaking the truth, no one will speak the truth. There is no place to get it in the mainstream. It's all about race baiting and hatred of Trump for them. So Boston Globe, Trump, 78, has struggled to adapt to Harris, 59. Again, ageism. All right, but ageism is okay if you use it against Republicans. Who was the first woman, Black person, and person of South Asian descent to serve as vice president. The Republican former president has at times resorted to invoking racial and gender stereotypes, frustrating allies who want Trump to focus instead on policy differences with Harris. He didn't start this race thing. Now, yeah, I also wish he would just stick to policy. But you have to understand, when they're coming at you constantly, you're a bad white man, and they make everything else about race. Oh, she's Black, she's Asian, she's Black, she's Indian, she's this, she's that, she's whatever color she feels like being that day. Yeah. When they're coming at you with that constantly, you have no choice but to respond to it. I hope he ignores it tonight. But the rest of us, again, we don't care. I'm so tired of being told I'm inherently racist because I'm white. Give me a break. Give me a break. It's exhausting. It's boring. I'm done. I can't wait. Whatever phase this thing that we're in America, with racism and war and constant and praising women for having abortions and so that they can keep their $60,000 a year marketing career that's going to get them nowhere in life. Yeah. Illegal immigration, no borders, whatever this sick phase we're in, I am ready for it to be over. And I know people all over the country are ready for it to be over. It is enough. We need normalcy again. Stop cutting off children and their perfectly healthy body parts. So Kamala finally, in time for all this, my computer is all my tech is just bugging today. Gosh. So Kamala finally decided today that she was going to, I don't know when she put it up. I haven't checked in a few days, but it's just in time for the debate. She has put up some issues on her website. My guess is that she tried to put it up right up against the debate so that they can't say again, where's your platform? Where's your platform? Because for a month we've been saying, where is your platform? You have no policies on your website. All you have is fundraising and some fluff about you and Freako Tim Waltz, and Doug, her husband, and they're all freakos. So she finally now at least solved that, so she can't get beat up for that. But you can still get beat up for that because the American people have been asking for it for months, and you still haven't done it. So she puts it up, and here, look at this. You're going to love this. Let me make this big for you. So there's different sections, and this one, safeguarding our fundamental freedoms, which means your right to kill your baby, on every single circle here at the bottom, she has Trump's Project 2025 agenda. So she is flat out as the presidential candidate running for the most important job on earth. She is flat out lying and saying that Project 2025 is Trump's agenda when it is not. It is of the Heritage Foundation. It's just a conservative wish list, some of which aligns with Trump's plans, but not all. And she knows it. And they're still putting it on the website and lying about it. I mean, that alone should be disqualifying. And how it's not just attests to how stupid the education system in America has made people. Gen X, we were the last ones to get out by the seat of our pants before it went to total hell. The Department of Education, created in, I think, around 1980, has done nothing but slowly destroy American education. And young people can't even think anymore properly. They can't think, they can't create, they can only feel and react to little bits of like headline propaganda that they receive. And that's what they're counting on. That's what they want. Thank you, Pop, for letting me know it's coming. It's coming. The sound is coming through fine. Yeah, sorry about that before. Who knows what goes on with me? I don't know. I feel like even when I, like back in the 90s when I was working like in an office, every time I touched the fax machine, it stopped working. Every time I went to the copy machine, somebody else had to end up fixing it. Like, I don't know. Everything I touch, I just can't do it. So you're saying, yeah, that you agree that Kamala purposely waited for now to post something. Yeah, I do. But I think it was also part of it was just, being on offense, and so that she didn't get called out for not having anything in the debate. All right. I want to talk about Kamala's real platform and what she really wants to do. CNN put out this video this week absolutely destroying her, and I can't even believe that they did. And I'm trying to figure out what CNN's game is. Like, are they actually trying to tell the truth, or are they just like, well, if we just tell enough truth, that'll make us look honest and people will trust us again? But why are they trying to undermine her now, the days before the debate? That's a really interesting question. It takes me a little while to come around to like how evil geniuses think, because honestly, it doesn't come naturally to me. So if you have any thoughts, drop it in the comments. I'd really like to hear why you think CNN, once you see this, is telling this about Kamala. Let's go.
19 questionnaire. And in this questionnaire, Harris laid out some much more liberal stances, among them on immigration. So in 2019, in what K-File found, she said she would cut funding to ICE, writing, quote, "Our immigrant detention system is out of control, and I believe we must end the unfair incarceration of thousands of individuals, families, and children. I was one of the first senators after President Trump was elected to advocate for a decrease in funding to ICE." Well, now, of course, she's touting the Biden administration's executive order to crack down on the border. K-File's Andrew Kaczynski joins me now. Andrew, that's pretty incredible on its own when you're talking about what you found here on ICE. What else did you find?
Yeah, and this was a questionnaire that she filled out for the ACLU, and this questionnaire is really an interesting snapshot in time of that 2019 Democratic primary. Kamala Harris was trying to get to the left of Bernie Sanders. She was trying to get to the left of Elizabeth Warren, and you really see that in a lot of these answers, and I want to walk our viewers through a little bit of what she said. Let's just
hold on to that. Left of Bernie Sanders, left of Elizabeth Warren. These are absolutely multimillionaire, wealthy people who have, I think Bernie's got 4 houses, Elizabeth's got 3. Like, I mean, just good for them. Hey, yay, capitalism. I'm all for it. You want a vacation house? Have it. You can have as many vacation houses as you want in my America. But don't you dare then come with your socialist nonsense and try to stick your hands in my pocket and force me to pay for somebody else's house and force me to pay for somebody else. These people are so radical, and they look good next to Kamala Harris. That's what's going on here. I would be less scared if Bernie Sanders was running as the Democratic nominee right now. I would.
Take immigration and look at what she said here. She said on immigration, she made this open-ended pledge to end immigrant detention. She said she supported taxpayer-funded gender transition surgeries for detained migrants.
Okay, so end migrant detention. So immigrant detention. So you're only detained if you're coming in illegally. So the ending the detention just basically means throwing the gates wide open and saying, come on in. So now we know that people aren't just walking in over the border. They're not just breaking in. They're being flown in from the Biden administration so that they can have more voters. This is like, it's out in the open now. They're not even bothering. So she wants to end the detention. So any detaining that's been going on in the meantime is just for show. We know it. They're holding some people. Most of them, they're just like, yeah, go ahead, go. Oh, you got somebody? Where you going? Oh, you're going to Topeka? Go ahead. Oh, you don't know where you want to go? Where do you want to go? How about all the Haitians? They send 20,000 of them to Springfield, Ohio. That's working out. Springfield, Ohio, insurance rates are going up for the people because Haitians drive like psychopaths and don't have insurance. Sorry, that's the truth. It's not racist to say. It's just what's going on. They're complaining that they can't go into their parks anymore because they're afraid. The wildlife in the parks, like ducks and geese, who people used to just get to like enjoy and look at and see them peacefully swimming. Yeah, now the Haitian illegals are grabbing them by the neck, chopping off their heads, dropping the heads in the park, and then taking the rest of the body home to eat it. Yes, we've also heard the stories about the Haitian illegals eating pets, cats and dogs. Yeah, it is happening. Today's story with the left, because they had to come out against it really as fast as possible before the debate tonight. They're saying it's a lie. It's a conspiracy theory. Republicans are making it up. They said we were making up the border crisis. They said we were making up the crime waves in America. They said we were making up riots. They said we were making up, stories about the Afghan withdrawal and it being Biden's fault. What else? They said we were lying and saying that children were being transitioned and having surgeries and having healthy body parts cut off. All the things they said we were lying about have all been proven true. We're very easily proven true. We're true the whole time. Same thing with the pets. The people in Springfield, Ohio are screaming and crying in front of their city council saying, please help us. No one's helping them. Their own city, their own state, their own governor, no one. The National Guard. Americans are living in hell. It's absolutely outrageous. Oh, so I interrupted this guy. We're going to get back to this. He turns around and says, she wants you. Take some money out of your pocket right now because you get to pay for gender transition surgeries of illegal aliens.
She also said she
taxpayer-funded gender transition surgeries for detained migrants. She actually said she supported that.
She both wrote and answered in the affirmative when she was asked this. Oh. And she said she also supported it for federal prisoners. Now, she also pledged to slash immigration detention by 50%, close all family and private facilities, and decrease funding for ICE, and then the end ICE detainers with local law enforcement.
I mean, these are things.
All right, so then no more requirements for local law enforcement to, turn illegal immigrants over to ICE, even though they're not. It's not that it matters because they're not doing it anyway. And the federal government, even though it's the law that they're supposed to go in and say you have to enforce this law and you have to turn these over to us, they're not enforcing it. This is all purposeful. I mean, I sound like a broken record. But it's hard to imagine that that somebody with this type of ideology has gotten this far. How did she come this far? How deep is the power of the elites? Look at, now Dick Cheney is endorsing her. Dick Cheney, who they made fun of when he had a heart transplant, said he didn't even deserve the heart. The man who they called a warmonger. He was evil. They made fun of him when he accidentally shot somebody in the face. All they did was say warmonger, 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 threat to sanity and world peace. Now they're bragging that he's on their side. Why? It's because he is a warmonger, and it's because the military industrial complex wants Kamala in office because she can be controlled, because she wants war. She wants the war with Russia. She wants more war between Israel and Hamas. She wants everything that they want. They don't care as long as they're getting rich. How did a woman with a public servant salary, which is not that much, end up with a $62,000 Tiffany necklace around her neck? Why? Because she's in bed with elites.
Things that, you would be hard to think that you would come up with taxpayer funding gender transitions for detained migrants. And yet this, as you say, written and verbally. What else, did you find?
Well, let's take a look at her answer here on drugs. She got asked about, the question from the ACLU was, since drug use is better addressed as a public health issue through treatment and other programming, will you support the decriminalization at the federal level of all drug possession for personal use? And Harris answers yes. Now, what would that mean? Well, it mean the federal all drug possession. That's not just marijuana, which she alluded to in her answer to this question, but it also would mean
federal level.
All right. So first, two things. When the question by the ACLU, that liberal psychopath, outfit, since drug use is better solved as a public health crisis. No, it's not. Ever since you started treating it that way, it actually got worse. Look what they did in Oregon. We're going to decriminalize all the drugs. So what happens? People for druggies started moving there just so they could deal and do drugs and, smoke cocaine and shoot up whatever they wanted right on the streets, and nobody said a word to them. And it became so overwhelming that they actually pulled that law back. Giving out free crack pipes, which was done by the Biden administration. Yes, true. That didn't work out. So yes, treating it as a public health crisis is probably part of the solution that we now we absolutely have to, but also treating it as a criminal crisis is the real solution, because you got to hit it from every angle. And so now she wants to decriminalize cocaine, fentanyl, heroin, everything. So what that does is, if somebody sells your kid a poison pill, they have no repercussions whatsoever. What? This woman wants to run the show? All of it?
All drug possession,
fentanyl, crack,
use.
cocaine, things like that. Yeah.
Have they responded to you on her changes on these issues?
So we did put this question to the Harris campaign about the entire ACLU questionnaire, and the Harris campaign didn't answer any questions from CNN. Instead, they just provided a statement from an unnamed Harris campaign advisor that just said the vice president's positions have been shaped by 3 years of effective governance as part of the Biden-Harris administration. Now, they declined to CNN to elaborate on what those positions were.
3 years of effective governance. So they just threw out a word salad and said, we will not affirm or deny any of it. I mean, it's really scary.
Also provided this statement, which they attributed to a spokesperson saying, as president, she will take that same pragmatic approach, focusing on common sense solutions for the sake of progress. So where does she stand on this, all this question?
Common sense solutions? Everything they've done has risen inflation and whatever. Broken record. I don't want to go there again. I do want to say, she has a lot to answer for tonight in the debate. And she's going to attack Trump on, the quote unquote insurrection, which wasn't an insurrection. These people would poop their pants if they ever saw a real insurrection. She's going to, attack him on the E. Jean Carroll sexual abuse thing, which E. Jean Carroll's credibility is absolutely shot. I would never use that ever in a debate because it's so weak and flimsy. But she's going to try to get her sound bites. She's going to try to get her little moments. I'm sure she's rehearsing over and over her I'm speaking speech. It's they're probably really trying to predict everything. Somebody did say she may be over prepared, and that could be the case. That is true. I think he's ready. I think he's ready for this. And I just pray that he keeps his head and he keeps his cool. One last thing, I want to tell a little story that I learned this week. And it helped me to understand our role as citizens and our role as, Christians and children of God. And I think Jews too. This is from the Old Testament. So, how important it is for us to get involved in this process and to vote. And if you are a registered voter, one thing I beg of you is to think of someone or ask around and find someone in your circle who's not registered to vote and get them registered and bring them to the polls. That's how we win this, because there are something like 30, at least 35-40% of I know Christians who don't engage at all, who aren't even registered. And we have to vote with our values, and we have to vote with for the candidates at the local, state, and federal level who are going to, help us to start resuming normalcy here. And there are no perfect candidates because there are no perfect people, but we got to do better than we're doing. I mean, for the love of God, look at what's happening. Look at our country. Do you even recognize it? I don't. I am having trouble sleeping at night. So back, I don't know, 3,500 years ago or so, Moses was carrying the entire weight of the Jewish people. They would come to him in the morning and form a line and tell him their troubles and their problems, and he would decide every single dispute, and it would take until nightfall. And so Jethro, his father-in-law, came to visit, and he was like, dude, this is not sustainable. And, what you need to do, is you need to choose delegates, people who can help you with these with these decisions, who can, be your voice. And he said, specifically, select capable men from all the people, men who fear God, trustworthy men who hate dishonest gain, and appoint them as officials over thousands, hundreds, and fifties. So find good people. And then he said, have them serve as judges for the people at all times, but have them bring every difficult case to you. Now, this is like a framework given by God in the Bible for how society is set up today. Except the problem is we are not choosing godly representatives anymore. We're choosing whoever's popular, whoever we're told. It's pretty sad that we have abandoned this most basic biblical responsibility. He says, if you do this and God so commands, you will be able to stand the strain, and all these people will go home satisfied. Moses listened to his father-in-law and did everything he said. He chose capable men from all Israel and made them leaders of the people, officials over 1,000, hundreds, fifties, and tens. So if we choose good people, godly men and women to lead our cities and our states and our nation, the people will all be satisfied. We will live in normalcy and safety and freedom, because ultimately the Bible, the devil's doers, the naysayers, will tell you that the Bible is restrictive, and ultimately what it is absolute freedom from a life without, oppression and sin and being told what you can't say, what you can do. So anyway, deport illegal immigrants and stop the replacement, yes, but the only way to stop that replacement is to elect Donald Trump. Because if Trump, and this isn't hyperbole, if Trump does not win this election, they will continue the stream. America, the fabric of America, will be forever altered. All of these people will come in and will 100%, without a doubt, vote Democrat, because them and all their families get to live for free. They're getting free houses in some places, like actual ownership. But they're at a bare minimum, getting free healthcare, free food, free housing, free transportation, free phones, free clothes, at a minimum. Other programs exist to give them more than that. Oh, and free legal advice. So we're only seeing the beginning of what it'll look like in another 4 years. We will not recognize America at all. There will be no parts left. This is not a blue city, blue state, versus red city, red state. That's not the issue. They're putting these people everywhere, so there's complete takeover. So yeah, the only way for that to happen is for Trump to win, do a mass deportation and build that wall and close this border and guard our border with our military, because we are actually facing an invasion and the American people have had it. And I say to you, choose wisely, but get involved, get somebody else involved and take them to the polls. Let's go, because they are going to try to cheat and we have to make this too big to rig. What can I say? I love my country and I want it to be a safe, American, free place for the rest of my life and for all of time, if possible, if we can surpass this madness that's coming at us. Guys, if you like the show, please sub, like, comment, and also make sure you go over to the Patriots Prayer Network on Rumble if you're not watching there already, and subscribe. There are a whole bunch of shows there. Regular Americans like me who are just fed up and trying to get some truth out there and trying to empower people like you to also speak up. It's time for us to take our country back. Stop being afraid. Because if you're afraid now, man, you have no idea how scared you're going to be when it gets worse. All right. God bless you. God bless America. Thank you for coming today, guys.
Have you heard of the based mother?